Greetings. This is the Get To Free Press, and I'm George Austin Ryan with the Get To Free Press, of course, and I'm located in Valdosta, Georgia. Last week, I was in Douglas, Georgia with Olivia Coley Pearson, a black elected official that are being mistreated, and it seemed as if though they're attempting to remove her from office. Yesterday, I was in Warrenton, Georgia with Mayor George Ivey, and he too is another black elected official that's under attack. I want you to know again that when I was a child, I was told that one day white people would finally accept black Americans as equals and as human beings, and that the Constitution of the United States would be applicable to the black race. However, after 2008, when President Barack Obama was elected president, the white people proved that they have no intentions of ever treating the black man as whites here in the United States of America. Although blacks have fought and defended this country from both foreign and domestic enemies, they call President Barack Obama everything but an American citizen. They undermined his presidency, and still, as Maya Angelou said, still he rose to be one of the most respected presidents. And I believe that history will prove this to be true in years and decades to come. Now, you can teach your children that one day the white man will finally accept them as equal. Well, you can forget that. That's a pipe dream. Whites will never give up an inch unless you take it. History proves that that's the case here in the West. Through all this mess, we had to fight to get a right to be called a human being and not 3/5 of a human being. We had to fight to get a right to use a bathroom. We had to fight to get a right to own land, to carry a gun, to protect our families and our daughters from being raped from the white slave masters. We had to fight to get a right to vote, and we are still fighting the rights, trying to get our right to vote and hold public office here in the United States of America. The documented records will show just what I'm saying here in the state of Georgia and in the state of Florida. I'm here to say to you that they thought they could ignore us. The news media, the television, the radio stations, all have tried to ignore the black man, his problems, and what they are facing each and every day. In Quitman, Georgia, the Quitman 10+2 was brought up on 119 to 200 voter fraud charges by the governor of the state of Georgia, Nathan Deal, Republican Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp, Georgia Attorney General Sam Olens, and the Justice Department seem unconcerned about voting rights here in the United States of America, leaving many communities to be torn apart with no protection for voting rights here in the United States of America, even though, like myself, I served in the armed forces of this nation during the Vietnam era, and yet white America have said to black people, we don't give a damn about you, although you served your country. Now, that is the truth. And so Jesus said, and ye shall know the truth, and that the truth shall set and make you free. So no black man, woman, or child should live in fear in the West any longer. You have paid the price to be full-fledged citizens here in the United States of America, and you have a right to demand your rights and to let people know when they have a dagger in your back, and stop smiling, stop supporting these wicked-ass preachers and wicked-ass bishops and civil rights organizations that see the black man, woman, and children in pain, and they don't say a damn thing. It is a disgrace to the Jesus I serve. It is a disgrace to the God of my salvation, not your God. But if you can sit in your church and not stand up for what is right, then you are a little devil yourself, and Beelzebub is your God. Now, if you think that white politicians will ever do justly by you, just look back down the annals of history. Don't worry about their smiles. Don't worry about what they put on paper. Just look at the historic archival record. We came to these shores as a black race of people, although we were already in this country with the Olmecs. We was already here. But when we came as slaves, our descendants, in the year 1555, aboard a slave ship called Jesus, captained by one white European slave trader, Sir John Hawkins. They never had any rights. They never cared about our rights. And now they're going to try to make black folk feel inferior because Black Lives Matter stood up because they said enough is enough of killing, murdering our black boys and women and fathers and mothers, and nothing was done about it. Even the newspaper wouldn't even report the story. And so Black Lives Matter stepped up and say, we are tired of it and we ain't gonna take it no more. Now they say all lives matter and try to make black people look like fools. If you say all lives matter, Mr. White Man, then did you not, in the eyes of God, go into Africa, kidnap black people, bring them here, enslave them, work them from can't see morning to can't see night, destroyed their family structure, took their daughters out by day or night, raped them, murdered them with no justice whatsoever, and you didn't even take care of your own children, and furthermore, you didn't even acknowledge your children, but black folk took those half black and half white children and took care of them as their own. Right here in Valdosta, black folk are the descendants of some of the richest people. Right here in Valdosta, they have the record and they have their last name. Don't think for a minute that my name is George Boston Ryan. That's not my name. But God has allowed us, this is why I say all black folks should not change their last name, because the time is going to come when we are going to identify our former slave masters, because God allowed us to keep our last name as a time capsule for such a time as this. And if you study the book of Exodus, and if you study the Ethiopian Bible, and if you study the Bible in truth, you will see what is about to unfold. And according to Galatians 6 and 7, God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man sow, that shall he also reap. And there is nothing anybody can do about this. You can have the biggest and strongest and most deadliest weapons on the planet, but when God ordains something to be, there is nothing you can do about it. And you sure can't fight God, because your hands are too small, your arms are too short, and your mind just can't make the trip to the God of our ancestors. Now I'm here to tell you that something is happening in America. I was over in Waycross a few weeks ago. While in Waycross, the people have acknowledged already, and it's on this YouTube channel, that white newspapers and television and radio will not report the news in the black community. So now Waycross is working on their own newspaper that they're going to support. We have found out now that the white man will never report our story, and we should not expect them to tell our story. Why should anybody do for us what we should do and must do for ourselves? Wait a minute, I haven't finished yet. Then I was in Cairo, and they are sick and tired of that newspaper not reporting their news. Same thing in Thomasville, Quitman, and here in Valdosta. And so I found out that there are two black papers that's coming out now. The one I want to pay close attention to is the Urban Empire News that will cover Brooks County, and Brooks County is the home of the ancient Mary Turner lynchings in May of 1918. Brooks County Equipment is also the home of the Equipment 10+2 that was brought up on these 119 to 200 charges, and the newspaper did not give them justice. And then when Miss Lula Smart had her first mistrial, had her second mistrial, and then had her third trial and was exonerated on all 40 to 70 charges they brought up against her, then they dropped the charges on all 12 of them black outstanding citizens. And I heard right here in Valdosta, the conservative radio station, lie on the Equipment 10, talking about they had a trunk full of absentee ballots, and that was a lie from the pits of hell told by white people. But in the end, God of our salvation, the God of our ancestors, proved them in a court of law, and all charges was dropped by the state of Georgia against all of them. But not until 4 years later. These people's lives had been put on hold for 4 years. All of them felonies kept them from getting a job. The state of Georgia, Republican Governor Nathan Deal, Republican Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp, Republican Sam Olens, they all sat, said, and did nothing with the help of Eric Holder, and now seem like Loretta Lynch. They are all in this pattern, practice, and conspiracy together. And I do mean together, for the people, the blacks in 16 to 18 cities and counties have been crying out for somebody to draw attention, to publish what they are going through. They've called CNN, they've called ABC, they've called CBS, they've called the Atlanta Journal and Constitution. We have sent them videos to the Congressional Black Caucus, to the Senate, and to the House, and they haven't done a damn thing about connecting the dots to show to the world what blacks are still going through, trying to get the right to vote. And after people register to vote, and after they go out to the polls and vote, and after they elect who they want to represent them, then these white people and a few Uncle Toms and Aunt Jane will come up, bring them to Superior Court judges on charges to belie them, to discredit them, to make them look like fools in the eyes of the public, to intimidate, to suppress, and to scare the hell out of elderly folk so they won't even vote in the election. And this is what I understand. A lot of older blacks here in the state of Georgia say they're not even going to vote in this election because of the investigators from the G.B.R, the way they mistreated and intimidated blacks in Warrenton, Georgia. I've talked about this lady, 82 years old, and she will consent to an interview. So I called Victor Blackwell. I thought he was going to come and address this issue, and I'm going to continue to say it. I've contacted CNN, I've contacted Atlanta Journal and Constitution, and why have not the Georgia Associated Press connected the dots? They don't even have to do the homework because I've already done it. All they got to do is take my video and then go to these cities and verify the names and elected officials. Don't just show one city, but connect the dots on all of these cities. I got 16, 18, but another brother from Athens, I think it is, or Augusta one, he got approximately 10 others. And it is indeed a disgrace under our form of government. And this is why I say that no black person should join the armed forces until this state government, the United States of America, grant black people the right to vote without the impediments, and then stop removing these people and crumping up on crumped up charges, talk about mishandling ballots, and that is a lie from the pits of hell. And the Secretary of State have an all-white election board in Macon when he come to Macon, and the brother from candidate from Clayton County told the board that you have an all-white board where it is not a reflection of the state of Georgia. And it is indeed a disgrace. Now, I'm not criticizing white people. I'm not criticizing the state of Georgia. But I'm doing what you say your Jesus talked about in St. John 8:32, and you shall know the truth, and that the truth shall set and make you free. So I am speaking the truth to you because there is no need of me lying to you, because only truth gonna set you free. Once again, this is the Get To Free Press. And again, the Urban Empire is a newspaper. Been out for months now. And you can call on Mr. Walter to report your story. We all know that the Valdosta Daily Times and the local TV stations, they don't give a damn about you, they don't give a damn about your children, and they don't give a damn about coming generations of children. We must do for ourselves what all other people are doing for themselves. Stop expecting others to do for you what you need to do for yourselves. You don't see the Japanese going to anybody else telling them to tell my story. You don't see the Russians going begging somebody else to tell my story. You don't see the people from Kenya going around begging somebody else to do for them what they need to do for themselves. And we in the West of the Ivey tribe, the ancient Hebrew Israelites that are recorded in the Bible, we need to stand up and do for our children what others are doing for theirs. We need to set up businesses and stop begging the white man for a job. We need to create jobs for white people like they haven't created jobs for us for such a long, long time. Don't criticize the Arabs. Don't criticize the Koreans who come in and suck the life breath and blood out of your community along with the dollars, and you just keep giving it to them, and you complain, talk about they taking your money. They are not taking your money. They are not taking our money. We are giving them our money when we won't do it for ourselves. And so if you don't do it for yourself, they got a right to come in the black community and take your children's money, so you won't be able to send your children to college, but they'll take your money and send their children to college. They'll take your money and send their children to universities and to fight against you, because you ain't got enough sense to do what other people are doing for their children. They love their children, and so they are doing for their children. And we give all our money to other people, even to buy groceries. Where is our black grocery stores? Don't you know that if they can do it, you can do it too? Well, then wake up. And wherever you see a black business, go in and patronize it. Just remember, the Bible says God had no respect of persons, and you shouldn't have any respect of persons either. But you must first do what Jesus said, and that is to provide for your own house and your own people first. Jesus said if a man or a woman does not provide for his own house, then he is worse than an infidel. That's why I stopped being an infidel. I created a business right here in Valdosta 2 years before I retired from the armed forces. 2 years for 14 years, because I believe in what I'm preaching. Tell your children to create businesses. Tell your children to love themselves. Tell your children to study their history. They are not what others have told them they are. You are better than killing each other down and shooting each other down in the street like wild dogs. You are better than that. And if you knew the truth about the greatness of your people historically and anciently, you would not harm another black man, woman, or child while you're on this planet. And you will respect the white man, especially those that respect you. And those that does not respect you, you respect them, but don't be a fool for them. And to the sellout Uncle Tom that ain't James Negro, we got a list now. We are calling them out by name. Yes, they are calling them out by social media now, because that's the time in which we live. Once again, the Ghetto Free Press. We report what others ignore. And once again, keep your eyes open for the urban empire. It's in circulation, and I'm telling you to call 229-244-3999 if you're in Quitman. If you're in Quitman and you want to talk to some of the concerned citizens over in Brooks County, Quitman, who are now trying to make a difference, call that number, 229-244-3999. And if you don't get them, you'll get the urban empire. Tell Mr. Walton that you heard about him on the YouTube and Facebook on the Get To Free Press site. We do this because we love you just that much. If you so desire, you can email Mr. Warrenton at the Urban Empire News. Let me repeat, the Urban Empire News at yahoo.com. Let me say it again. The Urban empirenews@yahoo.com. Call my beautiful brother, 229-224-3499. That's 229-224-3499. And run an ad in this paper. And if you don't need to run an ad, just send them $100 or $200 or $300 or $25. We must do for ourselves what we've been expecting others to do. And others done say it since the presidential election in 2008. We don't give a damn about you. And that's what you see now in the presidential race. That's what you see. So now, they don't need you no more. They don't want you no more. And my grandmama taught me when I was a child, why be with people that don't want to be with you? Why be with people that don't want to be with you? Why be with people that will not accept you as a human being in the West after 461 years? It is time now that we take up the mantle and start doing for ourselves like Elijah Muhammad taught the black Muslims, as they call it, as Malcolm taught, as Louis Farrakhan are teaching. And I don't know what in the heck done happened to the black church. I really don't. I can't understand how black preachers, men in particular, can see the newly elected black elected officials in the state of Georgia being mistreated, walked upon, taken before judges, Superior Court judges, removed from office, being denigrated. It just don't make sense. And we just sit, say, and do nothing. I cannot sit down like that. I just can't do it. I love you too much. I served this country for 21 years during the Vietnam War. I took an oath and obligation to defend this nation from both foreign and domestic enemies. And anybody that denies the black man, the red man, the brown man, the white man, or the other man his rights in this country, then I got a problem with you. I have a major problem with you. And to all you sick-headed veterans, you sick veteran who stinks in the nostrils of God, you went and you fought. You were injured. You're getting 80% disability for fighting in foreign nations against people you did not know, who had not done nothing to you. But you will not fight for your own mama right to vote, your daddy's right to hold elected office without being lied on. But you sit, say, and do nothing. What kind of veteran are you? I cannot be a veteran like that. Once again, the Ghetto Free Press. We report what others ignore. I just got back from Warrenton, Georgia. I just got back from Douglas, Georgia. I just got back from Atlanta, Georgia, with the rural southern black women. I just got back from New Orleans, and I don't know where I'm going next. But I'm going to continue to stand up for black women, regardless of what you sorry behind black men say or do. It is a disgrace for what we, the black men, have pushed upon the black woman. Without exception, every city that I go in, it's the black women that's standing up. Can't find a black-ass man nowhere. It's the black woman that's standing up. And it's a disgrace that we black men are not taking care of that black woman who have stood up from us and fought for us from day one. And I'm tired of it. Once again, to get to Free Press. All you on Facebook, I'm saying to you, y'all share this. Share it. Share it. Don't keep it to yourself. Jesus said, and ye shall know the truth, and that the truth shall set you free. Lies and half-truth ain't never set nobody free. It is the truth that will set you free. Once again, to get to Free Press. Bye-bye. We gone. Peace.